This is a welcome video for Phys 1110, Everyday Physics. Please watch this video at the start of the course.
Hello and welcome to Everyday Physics. I'm Elizabeth Angstman and I'm the lecturer for this course. I'm also the first year director here in the School of Physics. So I'm hoping that after studying this course, you'll never look at the world the same way again. I'm hoping that you'll look at things around you, such as streetlights, and go, oh, I know how that works now. That's the aim of this course. This course doesn't have any formal prerequisites. There's no university level courses that you need to have done to understand this course. However, it does have some maths in it. It's a non-calculus course, so there is no calculus. If there ever is calculus, then it's always optional. But you do need to know a little bit about algebra. You need to be able to rearrange equations. Trigonometry, so we do right-angled triangles, so you'll need to know a bit about SOHCAHTOA. And there's a little bit of geometry that you need to know as well, such as the equation for a straight line. So where this comes up during the course, in case you're a bit rusty on it, there's links to the Khan Academy and other resources that you can use to revise this maths. But physics is a quantitative science, so it's impossible to do physics properly without any maths. So during this course, we're going to cover 12 topics, one each week. In each topic, we're going to look at some everyday object or phenomena, such as streetlights, hot air balloons, and speed cameras, and we're going to look at the physics behind them. So, for example, streetlights are the first item that we're going to be looking at, and when we're considering streetlights, we're going to be looking at electric current, at electric power, and you'll also be introduced to the photoelectric effect, which is how the streetlight knows when to turn on. And the photoelectric effect is very exciting because it was some of the first evidence of quantum mechanics. So for each of these topics, you're going to have video lectures, so there'll be about 5 to 7 videos for you to watch. And these videos will cover the theory, so you'll see some equations, etc. They're going to have worked examples in them, and then there's going to be demonstrations. Each topic also has approximately 10 tutorial problems for you to try. Now, it's really important that you try these tutorial problems because there's lots of evidence that shows that the best way to learn physics, in fact, the best way to learn anything, is to practice answering questions. So with these tutorial problems, have a go at them. There's then videos showing the worked solutions of all these problems. So once you've had a go, you'll know if you got the answer correct. If you struggled with it, you can then watch the solution video. But please try the problem yourself first. Now, because this course is online, it's really important that you're self-motivated. Nobody is going to be checking if you have done those tutorial problems or not. You'll be the only one who's aware of that. But if you don't do them, then you're going to struggle with this course and you're not going to get as much out of it as if you did do them. Now, physics is an experimental science as well as being quantitative. So this means that everything is based on experiments and evidence. So it's really important when I tell you something, don't trust me, check it out yourself. So throughout the lectures, we suggest little things that you can do at home to check that what I'm telling you is actually the case. Now, also because physics is an experimental science, there's going to be 6 investigations for you to conduct at home. So there's going to be 1 investigation due every fortnight. So these investigations are designed to use equipment which hopefully you have access to at home. So for example, the first investigation, you're going to be measuring the specific heat of water with a kettle. So in order to perform this, you need a kettle, a measuring jug, a stopwatch, so most phones or iPads have a stopwatch app on them, and a thermometer is optional. Now, if you're ever in the situation where you don't have access to the equipment, such as some people don't have scales at home to measure mass, you can borrow these on a 24-hour loan from the first year lab. So you can't conduct the experiment in the lab, but you can borrow the equipment. So if you need to borrow some equipment, just go to the first year physics lab in the old main building, talk to the lab staff at the hatch at the front of the lab, explain that you're doing everyday physics, and they'll give you a book to sign and the equipment that you need. This is on 24-hour loan because we've got limited sets of the equipment and it's possible that somebody else will need it as well. So please don't leave it to the last minute if you need to borrow the equipment, because chances are that somebody else might have done that too and you might not be able to borrow the equipment at that time. So each of these investigations counts 5% towards your total mark for the subject, and as we've said, they're due fortnightly. There's 6 of them, giving you a total of 30%. So you will be submitting your reports through Turnitin. Please submit your reports as a PDF so that they appear to your tutor the same way that they appear to you. If you submit them as a Word document, we've had some issues with arrows moving, etc. But if you submit it as a PDF, you can be assured that your tutor sees what you see. So submit it to Turnitin, have a look at the report once you've submitted it to confirm that you have submitted the correct report. Your tutor will then use a rubric and put comments throughout your report before you get it back. Your tutor will also give some overall general feedback in your group discussion forum about how your group went on the report and the common mistakes. So it's a really good idea to look at the feedback from your tutor before submitting the next investigation so that you're not constantly making the same mistakes. So that's 30% of the assessment for the course, the investigations that you do at home. You also have an online test every 3 weeks. So this tests out the theory. So each of these tests, there's 4 of them, is worth 10%. Now be warned, these tests are hard. Don't leave it till the last minute. They're hard for a couple of reasons. They're open book, which means you can use whatever resources you have available for help apart from other people. It should be done individually. And there is no final exam for this subject. So this means that we use these quizzes to distinguish between HD, D, credit and pass students. So just be warned, they are hard and they have to be hard. If they weren't hard, then we would have to scale this subject down, which nobody wants. So the final part of the assessment is really the most exciting part. You have to come up with a final report. So in this final report, you're going to look at the physics behind an everyday object or phenomena of interest to you. So if you're interested in sport, you might choose something sporty, like why do they refrigerate tennis balls before big matches in big tennis matches? You could look at the difference in bounce height of cold tennis balls versus hot tennis balls, for example. Or if you're interested in music, you might want to look at how different musical instruments work. So it's really up to you what you want to do. What you're going to need to do is come up with an investigation, so similar to the investigations that you've been doing through the course, but one that you come up with to test the physics behind that object or phenomenon. So you're going to be handing in a draft of this report through the workshop tool on Moodle, and make sure that you do that by the due time. You'll then have a week to give feedback to 5 of your peers in the course about their draft report, and you will actually be marked on the quality of the feedback you give your peers. So that will be 10% of your mark. So you'll want to look at their reports carefully and give them as useful of feedback as you can. And then once that's happened, you'll be able to see the feedback that your peers have given you, and you will be able to use that to improve your final report before submitting it the final time to be marked by the tutor. So the final report mark, you get 20% of your final grade from that and 10% from the quality of the feedback that you give to your peers. But you won't be able to give feedback to your peers if you haven't submitted a draft report, because this is a peer activity, and it's not fair for you to see other people's reports if you're not letting them see your report. So now the work expectations with this course, even though it's online, are the same as other first year physics courses. So in this course we cover the same physics as what's covered in our Fundamentals of Physics course, Phys 1111. However, here we do it in a slightly different manner because it's an online course. So in Phys 1111, they have 6 contact hours a week. So 3 hours of lecture, 2 hours of lab, and 1 hour of tutorial, which is 6 hours. And we recommend that they also spend 6 hours of their own time working on the subject material. So that's 12 hours a week. So we recommend that you set aside 12 hours a week throughout the 12 weeks that the course runs to complete this course. This course doesn't have a final exam, so you don't need to devote any time in the exam period towards it. So even though it's online, it does have fairly high expectations. The course has a physics code. It's Phys 1110. So this means something. You can elect to do it as a general education subject, but it is a physics course. And so the level of work expected is the same as other first year physics courses. So if that's more time than you want to spend, then I recommend that you maybe drop this course and look for another course to do. Now for each topic, you're going to have some readings underneath the video lectures. These are optional. They're just that some people prefer to read the information than watch the information. So the readings come from the library, and if you want some additional problems to try, then there's often some additional problems in the readings which you can link to from below the video lectures. Now beware of the late penalties in this course. They are quite steep. That's because we need to get your work marked and back to you before the next lot of work's due, so that you can use the feedback from your tutors so that you're not making the same mistakes again and again. So it's not possible to get an extension for the online quizzes at all. The reason for that is that the answers are released as soon as the quiz closes, and the next day you'll get access to a solution video showing you how to do all these problems. So it's not possible to get an extension on the online quizzes. For the investigations, there's a late penalty of 25% per day. So be careful not to submit those late. With the draft report that you submit for peer feedback, it's also impossible to submit this late. It's because of the nature of the workshop tool that we use. As soon as that due time has passed, it assigns reports to people who've submitted reports, and if you haven't submitted anything, you won't be assigned anything to mark, and so you will miss out on 10% of the marks. So don't submit the draft report late. And again, with the final report, there's a 25% penalty like the investigations, so don't submit anything late. I recommend that you print out the course outline now and stick the page with all the due dates and times on your wall. Everything's due at 9 p.m. And finally, plagiarism can be a bit of an issue. Please make sure that you don't plagiarize, because it's not good for you, it's not good for me. So plagiarism involves submitting somebody else's work as your own, submitting your own work for 2 different assignments. So for example, if you submit one of the investigations as your final report, that is plagiarism, because you're only allowed to submit each piece of work for 1 assignment. So please be careful not to plagiarize. You can have a look at the Turnitin report to see what your similarity percentage is if you're worried about plagiarism. So it's probably a good idea to start thinking about what topic you'd be interested in for the final report now. You don't need to come up with something instantly, but just keep it in the back of your mind. Oh, that looks interesting, maybe I could think about that. So I really hope that you enjoy this course. It's quite a challenging course, and I really hope that after doing this course you do see the world in a different way and you have a better understanding of how it all works.
This course is run through Moodle.
When you first log in, your Moodle site should look a lot like this. And so what you'll have at the top is you'll have the next 3 weeks of the course and what you should be doing in each of these weeks. So this course actually starts in week 2 of session, which is on the 9th of March, but you'll have access to this Moodle site for O week and for week 1, and you'll have access to this first topic for that time as well. Now, this news forum is where I'm going to post important announcements. So that should be set up so that it emails out any important announcements to you. So please make sure that you are getting the emails from that news forum. If you're not, then check the settings to make sure that it is emailing you, because I'll only post up important announcements there. Now, you've all got access to this section at the moment as well, important course information. And this, as its name implies, contains important information about the course. So importantly, here's the course outline. So this course outline includes information about all the assessment, etc., most of which has been covered already in this welcome video. But a really important page is this section 6 on assessment tasks and feedback. This has got the release date, the submission date, and when you'll get the feedback for each of the assessment tasks in this course. So I'd recommend that you print this out now and stick it on your wall so that you know when all the assessment for this course is due. So here you've also got access to the syllabus. So the syllabus tells you about what you're going to be learning about. There's a data sheet which you may want to make use of during the online quizzes. If you use these values for the standard constants, then those are the values which have been programmed into the quiz as well. There's information about plagiarism. The most important thing is just please don't do it. Every session somebody does it. We always find it and it goes as a permanent mark on their record and they get 0 for that assignment at the very least. So please just don't do it. There's the welcome video here. So presumably you found it because you're watching that welcome video now. Now, information about the final report, you're going to want to have a look at that as well. So it's got suggestions for what you may want to do, though please feel free to choose something different. If you choose something different which you're really interested in, you'll probably have an even better report than if you choose something here. And remember that you're looking at the physics behind these phenomenon. You're not looking at the biology or chemistry, so just be a bit careful about that. And at the end here, you've got the rubric for how that final report is marked. So it's a good idea to look at this when you're thinking up your topic, because, for example, you need to have a graph in it. So make sure that you're choosing something where you can get data that you can do an analysis of. So it's worth having a look at that. When you're thinking about the final report, you may also want to have a look at some of these example submissions. So remember these submissions would not get full marks. So you should be able to open them on your computer and have a look at them. So you may want to look at those before you choose your topic for the final report. Now you'll also have access, possibly not in the first couple of weeks, but soon into the course you'll get access to a group discussion forum. Please introduce yourself to your group in this discussion forum. So this will be where you can have conversations with your tutor. So your tutor will want to check what topic you're doing for the final report. So when you've had a think about that, post up what you're interested in doing and your tutor will give you feedback on that. Also, just introduce yourself so that you know the other students in your group, because this is online, but we'd like to get to know each other a little bit. Now, each week you're going to have a separate topic. So for each of these topics, you'll have access to video lectures. These are hosted on YouTube, so you should be able to download them from there if you need to download them to watch them on the train or anything. If for some reason it's not working on YouTube, you do have a link to UNSW TV as well. You've also got access to readings from the library, which can be accessed from these links just here. Now, this is called the table of contents for the book. These video lectures are hosted in what's called a book on Moodle. So on this left-hand column, you can select whichever video you want to watch, and underneath the video is a little summary of the equations covered in that video. You've also got a book on the tutorial problems, so you can download the tutorial questions here as a PDF. Now, in the second chapter of this book, you've got access to solutions. So these go step by step through how to solve those problems. So you can fast forward through bits of this video to get to, for example, if you only had issues with question 5, you can fast forward through to question 5 and just watch the solutions for that one. And again, there's a link to the UNSW TV site in case you're doing it overseas where you can't get onto YouTube or something. Now, if there's something that you don't understand, please post it up on the discussion forum. So this can be accessed through links in these books or from the front page, Streetlights discussion forum. There's nothing here yet, but if you have any questions about this topic, post them up here and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. So that's the orientation to the Moodle site. Please log in and have a look at the site as soon as possible. If you've got any questions, just post them up on any of the discussion forums and somebody will get back to you as soon as possible.